It's a sound that for over 50 years you've felt just as much as you've heard. A sound forged in the industrial heart of England, born from a terrible accident and just sheer, absolute force of will.
So, today, we are opening the tone manual to deconstruct the signal chain of the man who literally invented heavy metal. Now, this isn't going to be about his biography. This is about the machine, the formula that created the sound.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts at the source. And for Tony Iommi, the source wasn't a guitar, it was his hands. And a fundamental principle of physics.
It's a crazy story. On his very last day of work at a sheet metal factory, a teenage Tony Iommi lost the tips of his middle and ring fingers on his fretting hand. I mean, that's a devastating injury that should have ended his career right there. But instead, it forced an innovation that would go on to define an entire genre of music.
See, to play with these little homemade plastic and leather fingertips he made, Tony had to reduce the pain. And that meant he had to reduce the string tension. So what is string tension? Well, it's just the pulling force of a tuned string. Higher tension is stiffer, right? Lower tension is looser, and you guessed it, takes way less pressure to play.
In this slide, this lays out the core concept perfectly. A standard guitar setup uses high tension for a really tight, focused vibration. Iommi's whole formula is the exact opposite. Low tension creates this loose, oscillating vibration. It's that unique kind of unstable wobble that gives the notes this ghostly undertone. And that is the absolute essence of doom.
And he did this in two ways. First, starting around the Master of Reality album, he tuned his whole guitar down 1.5 steps to C sharp. Second, he paired that super low tuning with an incredibly light custom set of strings. I mean, look at those gauges. A 9 to a 42 for a tuning this low is just radical. This combination right here is the absolute key to minimizing that tension.
So what gear captured that groundbreaking sound? Well, these were his primary weapons. His number one guitar was a heavily modified 1964 Gibson SG Special, nicknamed Monkey. And critically, it had P90 single-coil pickups, which have this raw, nasty bite that humbuckers just don't. And all of that was plugged straight into a 100-watt Laney supergroup head.
Okay, now we get to the next stage in the chain. We've got this massive, loose, really dark signal coming from the guitar. The challenge? Well, how do you amplify that without it turning into complete and utter mud?
You see, the Laney supergroup amps from back then were famous for having a huge, powerful low end. Now, normally, that's a good thing, right? But when you feed it a down-tuned, bass-heavy guitar signal, you're basically creating a recipe for an indistinct sonic mess. And this brings us to the central problem that Tony Iommi's rig had to solve. How do you take this dark, foundational tone and give it the aggressive punch and clarity it needs to create a heavy metal riff?
The solution is, well, it's completely counterintuitive. You don't add more bass at the amp. No. You make the sound heavier and tighter by strategically removing bass frequencies before the signal even gets to the amplifier.
Meet the secret weapon, the Dallas Rangemaster. And please don't let the name Treble Booster fool you. It's not just adding highs. Its circuit was specifically designed to solve the problem of those dark, kind of muddy British amps by aggressively cutting the low frequencies and pushing the upper mid-range.
So the crucial thing to understand is this order of operations. The raw signal from the SG hits the Rangemaster first. The pedal does its thing, this frequency sacrifice shaping the sound. It then sends a tight, aggressive mid-focus signal into the front of the Laney, overloading its input in a very specific way. And that gives you all the power and saturation, but with clarity and definition.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Iommi himself confirms it. He saw the Rangemaster not as an effect, but as an essential part of his amplifier. He needed it to hit the front end of that Laney hard enough to create his signature gain and saturation. And, just to add to the whole mythology of it, Iommi's Rangemaster wasn't even stock. Early in his career, he had it modified for even more gain and sustain. But nobody knows what that modification was. The one-of-a-kind pedal was accidentally thrown away by a roadie in 1979. Its secret's lost to history.
All right, so we've got the foundation and we have the blueprint. Now for the final piece of the puzzle, the specific amplifier settings that really dial in the darkness.
Let's break down this formula knob by knob. First up, gain. And this one is easy. All the way to 10, no hesitation. The goal here is just maximum power tube overdrive. You are pushing that amp to its absolute limit to get that beautiful, natural, crunchy compression.
Next, bass, set to about 7. Now, since the Rangemaster is already cutting out a ton of the low end before it even hits the amp, this setting keeps the tone full and heavy, but crucially, it stops it from turning into that mud we talked about.
Okay, the mids are pushed high, all the way up to 8. This is the core of the attack. When you combine this with the mid boost from the Rangemaster, this is the frequency range where the guitar just screams and cuts through the whole band with absolute authority.
And finally, the treble is set to 6. This gives you just enough top-end bite and clarity for the riffs to have definition, but not so much that the sound becomes thin or harsh. It's all about presence, not pain.
And here it is, the complete blueprint. It's a really carefully sculpted EQ curve. You max the gain for saturation, you control the bass for weight, you boost the mids for aggression, and you keep the treble present for clarity. Every single knob has a very specific job in shaping this iconic sound.
But what if you're working in the digital world, right? Well, here's the hack. Start with a British-style amp model. Now, the most crucial step is to place a treble booster effect before the amp model in your signal chain. Focus your EQ on the mids, and then use the booster's level to drive the input of that virtual amp really hard. That interaction, that's the key.
And there you have it. The sound of heavy metal wasn't just one thing. It was a whole chain of unlikely solutions to a really unique problem. Every single link, from his fingers to the speaker, was absolutely essential. So, which iconic tone should we dismantle next? Let us know.